Fun fact about me, the last Planet of the Apes trilogy, Rise, Dawn, and War, are 3 of my favorite movies of all time. I'm talking top trilogies ever. Up there with Lord of the Rings, the original Star Wars, Back to the Future, Toy Story. So let's see if this new one lives up to that. Hi everybody, Anthony here from Awesome Anthony Productions, and today I'm going to give you my review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. But before we get started, you know exactly what to do. At the end of the video, if I've earned it, please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any of my new content. Now let's get into it. Generations after the death of Caesar, a young ape, Noah, played by Owen Teague, lives in his village with a new generation of talking apes who spend their days raising eagles both as companions and to help them with hunting. That is until the henchmen of a mysterious leader from a faraway kingdom, Proximus Caesar, played by Kevin Durand, attack and leave the village in ruins, taking most of Noah's village with them to serve as Proximus's slaves. So Noah sets off to rescue his people, meeting a kind, well-read orangutan named Raka, played by Peter Macon, all the while being followed by a human woman seemingly affected by the simian flu, which, if you remember from the other movies, dulls down human intelligence and removes their ability to speak. But her name is Nova, played by Freya Allen from the Witcher series. But as this journey continues and Noah finally meets Proximus face to face, he'll not only realize just how ruthless this villain is, but have to make a decision that may change the future of ape and humankind forever. Right away, let me just give the biggest praise to something that all of these new Planet of the Apes movies have completely nailed, even with Rise 13 years ago. The visuals here are absolutely insane. The first Avatar and The Way of Water have some of the best CGI I've ever seen, but it's used on humanoid creatures and unique alien landscapes, so even though it looks photorealistic, it doesn't really look realistic. The new Planet of the Apes movies are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and this one is no different. The CGI used here is so technologically advanced that aside from maybe a few shots here and there during action scenes, every single ape in this film looks convincing and 100% real. The eyes, the fur, the lighting, the subtle ticks and twitches, the way they walk, the way they sign, the way they fight, hell, even the way they laugh. The results are incredible. It all goes the extra mile to convince your brain that you're looking at real talking humanoid apes. And the best part, it looks this real without ever dipping into the uncanny valley. It's those eyes, man. They look so good. We all know the Academy Awards have become a total joke in the last few years or so.
Oh, wow. Welcome to Earth.
But even then, it's a crime that none of these movies have ever won Best Visual Effects. They're just that great. And this is also thanks to the motion capture performances too, because these apes wouldn't seem half as real if it wasn't for the sheer acting talent behind them. I was nervous that having the king of motion capture, Andy Serkis, not be in this movie after being the star of the last 3 would bring down the quality a lot, but I have to really give it up to the ape actors here, especially Owen Teague, Peter Macon, and Kevin Durand. As Noah, Teague is enduring, vulnerable, stern, and pretty badass at times, and from the beginning I was fully invested in his journey and enthralled by the growth and development that he has.
Character development.
As Raka, Peter Macon is kind, wise, and pretty funny here and there, and I thought he was the perfect companion for Noah, especially when he takes some time out of their journey to preach the teachings of Caesar to him.
Legend says ape and human lived side by side. Impossible as that may seem.
You know how Caesar established things like apes together strong and ape not kill ape? They give us good themes for the rest of the movie to go on to see just how every single ape in this film has interpreted his teachings. In Proximus, Kevin Durand uses his intimidating physique combined with a reserved yet menacing performance to round out this already great cast and film with a great villain, one who gets even more scary when you think about what his ultimate goal is.
Apes will learn. I will learn.
I just wish he had more presence and screen time in the story. He's built up expertly, with his hunters coming in and causing mayhem in the beginning, and him being talked about and built up a lot during the first half, to really kind of give you a sense of fear around him before you even meet him on screen. And when he is finally introduced, he's great. I just wanted more of him. Moving away from the apes, Freya Allen is alright as Nova, though, and this is kind of ironic considering the story of the character, I liked her a lot more in the beginning when she was first introduced, and less as the movie went on. The writers attribute a lot of attention and importance to this character, and though I thought her story was well done, it took away from Noah and Proximus' story a little bit too much. I think there's a lot of great directions that they can take her character's story in a sequel though, and I appreciated that she was just there as her own character with her own motivations, and that they didn't try to force some unholy abomination of a romance between her and Noah.
That would be both illegal and wrong.
Or make them best friends. They're kind of just reluctant companions, and they stay that way. I also really enjoyed the score here by John Paciano. If that name sounds familiar, he scored the last 2 Spider-Man video games. He did a good job intermixing mixing tribal music with the typical film score just like the last 3 movies did. I've talked a lot about what works in this movie, but since I brought up a complaint, I think I'm going to get into the rest of them. The first being that the story in this is much stronger in the first half. The adventure and revenge savior quest that Noah goes on is very intriguing, exciting, and thematically rich with his conversations with Raqqa about Caesar's legacy. But as soon as Proximus is introduced in the second half, even though he is a cool villain that you want to see a lot of, the story does get a little muddied. We have Proximus monologuing about his plan and evolution and what he wants for ape kind.
Are you familiar with the concept of evolution?
Another character monologuing about wanting the opposite, a couple of huge reveals and twists that come with a ton of different questions and possibilities, and it kind of just turned into a lot. And if the whole movie was like that, it would have been fine, but I got so into this whole simple adventure revenge story that when a lot of plot gets introduced so late in the movie, it's a little disorienting. And my other complaint, aside from Nova's character and Proximus's lack of screen time, is the lack of a rich emotional core here. In addition to their smart stories, great characters, and brilliant effects, each of the last Apes movies had a very strong emotional core to it. I teared up in every single one of them, but this one never really comes close to that, unfortunately.
We were this close.
We don't really get that much time with Noah's tribe to get seriously attached to them before they're attacked, and outside of one scene that made me tear up in a badass apes together strong moment, I wasn't really as emotionally invested with this as I was with the last 3. So overall, though the emotional core isn't as strong as it could be, the story gets a little muddied in the second half, Nova's character takes way too much away from the main story, and the villain isn't on screen enough even though he's great. This is still one of the best blockbusters in a while, with truly astounding visual effects complemented by great motion capture performances from the cast, an endearing lead that you love to root for, an intimidating villain, and a thematically rich story. Regardless of complaints, I am very satisfied. I'm so glad this franchise is back, and I can't wait for the next one. And that's my review of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this review, you know exactly what to do. I said it in the beginning. Please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss any of my new content. While you're at it, you can scroll down the description below, find the links to my socials, leave a comment, let me know if you saw this movie and what you thought, and if you want more of my content, you can click or tap on these cards right here. It'll take you to my review of Infested, or just over to my channel where you can check out my reviews, my shorts, and my old shit. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you next week for my review of The Strangers Chapter 1.